Let's talk Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, we got to wait and see how the league adjusts to Brock Purdy, but look at his skill set. He actually can move. He can make pass rushers miss. Jimmy can't do that. He wants to improvise. Jimmy doesn't want to do that. He wants to throw down the field. Jimmy doesn't want to do that. He scores touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo seems to settle for field goals a lot. So, kudos to Brock Purdy for seizing his moment. It seems like he's the real deal, unlike Nick Mullins or C.J. Beathard. It looks like he's pretty freaking good. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but so far it doesn't matter. He has touch. He throws the ball down the field. He's not just a dinker and a dunker, even though he has a semi-weak arm. He pushes the ball down the field. So let's give Kyle Shanahan some credit. Drafted Brock Purdy. Developed Brock Purdy. Had him on the team. Had him ready for this moment. So give Kyle Shanahan all the credit for that. But what I think is kind of funny is you'll see people taking it a step farther, and say, Kyle Shanahan is the reason Brock Purdy's playing so well. Kyle Shanahan's the greatest coach of all time. Look what he did with Jimmy. Now look what he's doing with Brock Purdy. I want to flip that around a little bit. Was Kyle Shanahan making Brock Purdy look good, or was Brock Purdy making Kyle Shanahan look good? Because the way I look at it, I mean, Kyle Shanahan got Trey Lance hurt by using him recklessly. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt because he always gets hurt because he makes poor decisions. Kyle wanted him on the team. And he backed in to playing Brock Purdy. He never would have played Brock Purdy if those other guys didn't get hurt. So Kyle Shanahan is looking at these quarterbacks every day in practice since May, and he doesn't want to play Brock Purdy until he has to, and now he's a genius. I think it's interesting. Kyle Shanahan is continuously bailed out by these kind of things. Like, he traded 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance, who was a project. He never actually did any work on the project. Ruined the project, at least for now. Brought back Jimmy Garoppolo, who got hurt again, predictably. Didn't draft Patrick Mahomes. Didn't sign Tom Brady. I mean, compounded the quarterback problem year after year after year. And now he may have found a solution with the final pick in the draft who got on the field because the other guys got hurt. And that's why the Niners might win the Super Bowl this year? Yeah, I mean, Kyle Shanahan gets some credit, but let's give Brock Purdy some freaking credit. And frankly, if Kyle Shanahan had this epiphany a little earlier, would the Niners have lost to Denver? Would they have lost to, who else did they freaking lose to? Atlanta. What was the other game? Well, those two. Would they have lost those 2 games? I don't know. It just seems like Brock Purdy put in the work. He was here in OTAs, mini camp, training camp. If you liked him, I mean, the Niners said they liked him, right? They didn't want Nate Sudfeld. They had him on the team. They were going to have him as the backup. And then at the last minute, they're like, you know what? We need Jimmy Garoppolo, who's had no offseason. Jimmy did a fine job this year. But he's not as good as Brock Purdy. He's not. So I think it's kind of funny how we can see Kyle's not really good at evaluating quarterbacks. But you know what? He's got Brock Purdy. Someone decided this guy was worth the draft pick. Maybe it was Kyle. Maybe it was John Lynch. He's on the field now, and frankly, the Niners are legit with him. They can win the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm thinking they should be in the NFC Championship game minimum because now they have a quarterback who can make plays beyond what Kyle Shanahan draws up. So Kyle Shanahan gets credit. The organization gets credit. But let's not take all the credit away from Brock Purdy. He's improvising on the field. He's making Kyle Shanahan look a lot better than he's been the last 5 years. So I think it's a great story. And it doesn't mean he'll be the starting quarterback next year. It doesn't mean he'll be the starting quarterback in 2 weeks. He's hurt right now. Not injured, but hurt. Hurt his oblique. Had to leave the game. They said that wasn't the reason he left the game. They were winning by so much they pulled their starters. They said he could have finished it, but they also said they're going to have to see how it feels tomorrow, and they're not sure if he can play against the Seahawks. Oblique injuries are tricky for people who throw, pitchers, quarterbacks. And if it's not bad now, it could get worse if they're not careful. So all of a sudden, the Niners need to treat Brock Purdy extremely carefully because he might be special. I'm not saying he's special yet, but he might be special. What he did today was special in a way that I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't ever played. We didn't see him play like – I've never seen Jimmy Garoppolo play like this today. So good for the 49ers. After the game, Nick Bosa said, we have a quarterback. Well put. Well put. It seems like the team is sold. So They got a guy they can rally behind for the rest of the season. And if he wins the Super Bowl, then he's their franchise quarterback. If not, then they have a very interesting dilemma in the offseason. Good place to be.